No way, dude. This idea, it's making me sick to my stomach, fam. Let's talk today about a radio hit that was done by the folks over on Sportsnet in regards to the Toronto Maple Leafs and their contract negotiations with William Nylander. Now, our source is an article on hockeyfeed.com, which will be linked in the description, and I'll admit the title of the entire thing is very clickbaity, which is kind of why this video is clickbaiting in the way that it is too, but take a look at this piece if you want to go ahead and read it. It's in the description. William Nylander reportedly has 1 foot out the door due to the Leafs' tough dilemma. Published yesterday by hockeyfeed.com. It cites an apparent radio hit done by Sportsnet's Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, as well as Sam McKee in regards to how the Toronto Maple Leafs need to navigate this William Nylander extension. Now, before we dive into all the quotes and the sentiments, we'll go over the profiles here first. William Nylander has 38 points in 27 games played. He is on pace to shattering his career high in points and assists, on pace for 116 points and roughly 40 goals, which he actually accomplished last year. William Nylander is a total superstar and is one of the best players in the NHL. You take a look at other guys in the Toronto Maple Leafs system and you see Mitch Marner at 32 points in 27 games played. Austin Matthews has 35, 23 goals on the season too. He has been an absolute wagon of a hockey player this season. And when it comes to the big three or big four, if you want to include Tavares, who has 28 points on the year too, this is a very, very good group of guys that are scoring. They're getting things done. We'll wait and see what happens in the postseason when, the games matter a little bit more, whether or not they actually show up in that capacity. But for now, William Nylander has been a stud. Marner, Matthews, Tavares have all been great too. And this radio hit goes out there and talks about the concerns. Let's go back over onto the article and read what the quotes are saying from Sportsnet's radio insiders. According to Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, and Sam McKee, the Maple Leafs will need to choose between Nylander and Marner. The latter signed a 6-year, $65 million deal with the Leafs in September 2019 and has become untouchable in Toronto. The trio of reporters then pointed to the involvement of agent Louis Gross and went on to hint at the Swedish forward's preference to possibly test free agency in July. Sam McKee explained, "The thing that stuck out to me about this piece, and it's seeing it laid out in front of me, was the Louis Gross aspect of this. Maybe Nylander just wants to go to UFA status." Now, the thing is, we've heard a bunch from the Maple Leafs themselves, William Nylander himself too, that both parties would like to reunite. They'd like to get this done, they want to get this through. Nylander would be okay with playing some more hockey in Toronto. But the thing is, if William Nylander is going to go out there and have himself a 110-point caliber year, there's a very well reason for him to demand money that the Toronto Maple Leafs may not be able to give. He could be pricing himself out. And William Nylander, who is the son of Michael Nylander, who was one of the more tough-headed negotiators in regards to contracts in the NHL in the past years when he was in the league, definitely doesn't make this an optimistic look for the way Nylander is going to get these negotiations done, assuming he gets them done in the first place. There already was a holdup with Nylander back when he signed his current contract. He almost didn't play in that season because they held out until December. So now, as he's expiring as a UFA, if he goes to free agency, this is going to be a huge opportunity for him to get the bag. We've talked all this time about how free agents in the market will get huge, expensive contracts, long-term contracts, because they have rights to demand whatever it is they want. Nylander can do that. So if he really wants to stay in Toronto, he's going to have to do so at a discount. But what these Sportsnet radio analysts are talking about is that when it comes to Nylander and Marner, losing the former could have an impact on the latter in negotiations coming that following summer. There will be a sense of fear of losing both of them added to the mix. Toronto will need to be extremely clever with its salary cap. Justin Bourne said this, "Well, sure. And the scary part, mentioned again in this piece, is that if you lose William Nylander, let's say you're okay, we value the cap space, or we're going to trade him at the deadline, or whatever. If you don't have Willie on your roster, and then it's Mitch Marner's turn for negotiations, you're screwed, because you can't lose them both." Now, why would the dominoes fall this way? Why would losing Nylander result in a Marner loss as well? Well, if Mitch Marner is so adamant that he wants to play on a team that's got a winner, then losing out on a guy like Nylander will make the team worse. And if Marner goes through the same song and dance next year where there's no more Nylander, so he's got to carry the load on his own, or not fully on his own because, he's still got Matthews and Tavares there. Once he gets that season going next year, there's an opportunity for him to have the exact same thing happen in free agency in 2025. For Marner to outperform his contract, to be amazing, and then get the bag in free agency. The guy already has one of the most expensive contracts in the NHL AAV-wise, and I think as of when the contract was signed, or as of the past few years, he was like the second most paid winger in the NHL behind Artemi Panarin. $10.09 million, or excuse me, 10.9 straight up million dollars a year is not cheap in the slightest. And the thing is, Marner is playing at a similar point production pace this year than he has had when he signed the contract back in 2018-19. It's kind of funny because Nylander has been getting better consistently over and over, from 70 points to 80 points to 40 goals, and now he's on pace for 110. Mitch Marner is on pace for 97 points. You know how many times he's reached 97 points in his career? 3 times, and he was close back in 2018. This is a player who has been the model of consistency throughout his entire Toronto Maple Leafs career, and you could say that, okay, if the cap is rising and everybody else is going to be going out there making money, then Marner could be getting a pay raise too, right? It sparks tremendous fear. And if Mitch Marner is really in a position where he wants to win, he wants to be a part of a contender, if the Toronto Maple Leafs lose William Nylander and they just say, okay, well, we lost Nylander, Marner, here, take a $15 million AAV deal, take a $12 million AAV deal, take a whatever $1 million AAV deal so you could stay, because we got extra funds from not signing Nylander. How about that? How about that? Sure, there's the aspect that says, yeah, Marner could become a superstar caliber contract like some of the other guys who have been shelled out money ever since Marner's first contract was signed. But there also is that aspect where it's like, yeah, no, you would hold this team back so much from winning if you've got Marner and Matthews on your team making a combined like $28 million against the salary cap. Or even just dial it down, 25 mil, add on Tavares, and you're up to 30-something million dollars a year. It's already ridiculous now, but if you lose out on a full roster player while boosting up the dollar amounts of some of these other guys, like, it gets crazy. And I know John Tavares also needs to re-sign. He's probably going to. I don't think he's going to demand too high of an AAV on his next deal, considering he's like a million years old. But either way, there also was one more idea highlighted in this radio hit that's talked about in the article. On top of this, as if it were not enough to deal with, the Toronto Maple Leafs simply cannot lose a player like Nylander for nothing in the free agent market, like we saw happening to Treliving in the Calgary Flames when Johnny Gaudreau walked out. Bourne added this: Brad Treliving has made it clear he doesn't want to do the Johnny Gaudreau thing again where he just gets, I can't do anything, and the guy just leaves. This would be a disaster scenario, and having one may cause the other, because at the end of the day, the Toronto Maple Leafs have one of the biggest tasks in hockey history on their hands with this Nylander contract negotiation. If you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, what are your thoughts on the odds that the Leafs end up losing out on both Nylander and Marner within the next 2 years? Do you think they're going to lose out on one? Is it a Marner versus Nylander situation? Can you only get one of these guys returning in the long term? And for William Nylander, how much money do you think he can get on his next contract? Difference from free agency to re-signing with the Leafs, what do you think that is? And how much do you think his impact would be missed if he were to up and away yeet off in free agency? Sign with the Flames or something. Go to some other team that's going to pay him $12.5 million a year. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about William Nylander, Mitch Marner, the entire situation in Toronto. I hope you enjoyed this. And bye.